Several Washington City residents living along Main Street and 300 East have placed signs on their front lawns in vigilant opposition to a new freeway off-ramp that could be coming through their neighborhoods. The project being studied is commonly referred to as MP11 due to its possible location on milepost 11 on I-15.
The study area right now is between exits 10 and 13 so far as I-15 is concerned. Now, we're also looking at how do you access that interstate, and we're also trying to take a look at what's happening on Telegraph and those adjacent corresponding local streets.
The problem, according to traffic studies, is congestion in this stretch of road due to a backup on exit 10 at Green Springs on and off ramp.
And the new interchange was the one option, and that's how we got to this point. So the other options, we've been working through them. One was Mall Drive Bridge, one was Mall Drive Crossing. The other one is the Northern Corridor or Washington Parkway. We're presently working on that. So all these are just options that are coming up.
Residents who came to a public scoping meeting were invited to get involved in the process and become educated on the purpose and need.
I think most of the Washington residents are in a panic mode. We don't want to improve our properties for fear of what's going to happen. If exit 10 is a problem, then we need to look at the big cities and see how they revamp the large areas. They don't destroy the whole area. They just make spaghetti freeways to make them work.
Growth in the Washington City area and throughout Washington County has spurred the onslaught of traffic coming on and off the interstate. A new underpass on Mall Drive was thought to divert some of the local traffic, but it's not enough, according to long-range planners.
Something needs to get done because of the congestion that we have today and because what the projections say that we might have in the future. So we're trying to figure out what that something is.
While there have been no decisions on any locations for a possible interchange, the areas studied in the past have included the current underpass on Main Street.
Fundamentally, I feel like I understand why so many people object, because it's in the middle of a residential area where they want to put the off-ramp. I think otherwise it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Opponents at the meeting voiced their opposition to this site and a few others for various reasons.
One of the concerns I have on the safety is that the dark neighbors that live on I-15 are sex trafficking and are drug trafficking, and I'm concerned that if we create a district where it's easy access to low-income housing, I'm concerned the type of things that will happen that will negatively impact our community. I'm concerned about the loss of property value, and I'm also concerned about the overall expense that we as citizens will have to bear.
My main concern is the school's safety. I have 2 young kids. We purposely bought a house within walking distance of the school, of the churches, of the library, park, and even the rec center. And if this off-ramp comes on Main Street, we're going to have to move. We have no other options.
But others believe that growth and development is happening, and planning another route of transportation is crucial.
There's 3 different options that they've talked about. One is Brio, one is Main Street, one is 300 East. Looking at the 3 scenarios, 300 East, you've got an elementary school, and it really doesn't go anywhere to the north. I think Main Street, of the 3 options, is probably the best option, especially if you can add a tie-in down in the fields later on down the road.
One idea mentioned was to place a flyover road near exit 10 connecting to a frontage road, or connecting a frontage road off exit 13, which is also growing.
If work was done to extend the corridor off of 13 to go over to Bluff Street, if there was then also at exit 10 a ramp that would take traffic off the freeway and only be able to go to the left over onto Red Hills Parkway to address the businesses over there.
With the population of the area expected to more than triple by the year 2040, planners are hoping to get a head start on future transportation needs.
But it is the people that are attracted to come in and go to our retail stores. That's why milepost 10. Milepost 10 is a significant problem for us in failure now. And we don't have much of a choice but to plan on how we deal with that. This plan is really looking 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road.
An environmental study is to disclose any impacts that might surround a new interchange.
To select a few alternatives, to vet them down through basically solid engineering and scientific processes, to double check and make sure that the communities have been heard, that they've had their say, and their ability to steer where that study goes.
Trailer court owner Henry Mendoza said he'd be willing to sell his land if needed.
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah?
Progress is always a good thing.
This is the first step in analyzing impact on changes. The entire process is expected to take about 18 months, at which time a decision will be made. That decision, according to planners, could go any direction searching for solutions.
Even if it comes in and says that an interchange is the best alternative, it could come back and say no interchange. So we are looking at all the alternatives, but if an interchange comes through, even after it's approved, we still got to find funding. We got to find a $40 million funding for the project.
In Washington City, Melissa Anderson, CEC News.